Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about a pre-made watercolour set from Winsor & Newton. This is a field box set of 12 professional watercolour half pans. I believe there is also a Cotman version of this available, so do be careful. I got this from CassArt, who have been doing a lot of watercolour sales recently. I think I got this for £34.95 British pounds, which is pretty good value. Their full retail price and the price that's available on Jackson's is £49.95, so saving about £15 there from the sale. Winsor Newton's retail price of this is actually £78.95 according to their website, so this is around £80 worth of paint according to Winsor & Newton. And here you can see the unboxing and the colour chart of colours. Strangely enough, the colour chart does not list pigments. I'm guessing it's because the pigment formulas often change within their paint brand. So here it is, here's the box. It's a plastic box. The build of the box itself is okay. It's not the sturdiest thing I've ever had, but it's not too bad. I've definitely had flimsier palettes than that. I don't like the way that it doesn't sit quite flat. It doesn't lay flat when you open it. The set contains a small travel brush, a water bottle, which also has a mixing well at the front, and the water bottle does pop out, two foldable mixing areas, a sponge, and the lid of the box, which keeps it all together, doubles up as a container for you to put the water in for you to use for painting. So this is what it looks like all unwrapped. You can see that the pans aren't too secure in there. You will have to put blue tack or some kind of sticky device on the bottom to keep them in place. They do rattle around a bit, but they're not going to come flying out if you tip the box upside down. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about too much. I filled the water bottle up and poured it out into the container. It does fill pretty much, probably around 3/4 of the way of the container. So it doesn't fill it right to the top, but there is enough water in there to paint while painting on plein air. The thumb ring on the back of the box isn't very sturdy though, so I wouldn't recommend using it. So let's swatch some of these colours out, or all the colours out. So the colours that are included in this set are Lemon Yellow PY53, Winsor Yellow PY154, Winsor Red PR254, Alizarin Crimson PR83. Side note with this one, the websites from Winsor & Newton, CassArt and Jackson's say permanent alizarin crimson. However, it's just the genuine original fading version in this set. Later on I do switch the non-permanent version with the permanent version just because I don't really want to be using genuine alizarin crimson because it is prone to fading. The other colours included in this set are Winsor Blue, Green Shade PB15, Ultramarine Blue PB29, Sap Green PG36 and PY110. Another side note with this one, all the websites do say Winsor Green, which is PG36 on its own. Now I'm not actually disappointed here because their Sap Green is really nice. In my Pigment Playtime episode where I compared greens, Winsor & Newton Sap Green actually came out on top. It's a really nice green colour and I was not disappointed to get it. I'm not a huge fan of Winsor & Newton Paints. However, their Sap Green really is something special, and if you want to get Sap Green, I really do highly recommend it. Following on, the other colours are Yellow Ochre PY43, Raw Sienna PY42 and PR101, Burnt Sienna PR101, Ivory Black PBK9, and Chinese White PW4. Now, you may have realised that the price of this set may not be quite as good valued as it first appears. While there are actually 12 half pans in this set, there aren't quite that many usable colours in it. Both the black and the white are not very usable in watercolour painting. I am going to do a separate video talking about this because it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine. So that we're down so far to 10 colours. Also as well, the yellow ochre and raw sienna are pretty close in colour. The yellow ochre is a little bit whiter and creamier and more opaque, while the raw sienna is a little bit harder to re-wet and is a bit brighter. But they're interchangeable, you don't need both, you can just pick one. So we're down to about 9 usable colours. Now we're just under £35 for 9 professional pounds of watercolour paint. That's not bad, but I definitely would not pay full price of £50 for these, or certainly not nearly £80. So I'm going to do some colour mixing now and paint some colour wheels. And this is where I was also not finding much happiness with the colour choice in this set. The cool yellow of PY53 is nickel yellow titanate, and it's a very pale, not a very strong tinting yellow. It's nearly kind of white. It's not very great for mixing, and you're going to get very opaque and very unnatural looking colours when you mix with it. It can't make a very nice orange, nor does it make a particularly good green. And then their warm yellow is not particularly warm either. PY154 is a medium yellow at best, and sometimes I actually even use it as a cool yellow because it's not very warm. This does make nicer greens and does better in mixing, I feel. And it's also transparent. All of the colours in this set do require a little bit of pre-wetting to get the full strength of them. This is a thing with Winsor Newton's colours. You can remedy this by buying the tubes and adding glycerin or honey when you pour the paint out. But the end result, I did get some nice mixes from this paint, and they were really quite nice when mixing. They produced nice and bright mixes, and I was pretty happy with the way they behaved with each other. I've also done some black lines on the squares, so you can see if they're opaque or transparent. I do feel I can't mix an amazing purple with this set. I'm able to mix an alright purple by mixing the ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson together, but it's not ideal. Ideally, I would prefer a violet in the set, such as a dioxazine violet. I am going to keep all of the colours in here together for the purpose of this video, but in future I think I will switch out 1 or 2 colours and either put a magenta in there because I do have a quinacridone magenta from Winsor Newton, and maybe a dioxazine violet in there as well. I would think I would find that helpful, and I would probably get rid of the white and the black, and probably one of the either raw sienna or yellow ochre. I just don't feel it's necessary, and I definitely do want to replace that lemon yellow with a different lemon yellow because it's pretty bad. I may keep the Winsor yellow as a cool yellow and then find a warmer yellow from Winsor & Newton to use. I think I actually have the original New Gamboge formula, which I could use as a warm yellow, or I could purchase a new colour, which I don't really want to do. I will leave scans of this sheet over on my Patreon page if you would like a closer look at it. You can sign up to my Patreon page for as little as $1 a month. It's a really good way to get the behind the scenes sort of features, looks and sneak peeks. Patrons do get the first look at my handmade watercolours, which I sell over my web store. They have been getting quite a few sneak peeks leading up to the store launch and the restock coming up soon. They have already gotten quite a lot of information, while other followers of my Instagram page haven't gotten it yet, but they will be coming out over the next couple of weeks. As well, down below I will also leave information to the paints and where you can buy this set from, and as well the other materials. So I've decided I'm going to do a demo painting with these colours. I was watching Harry Potter one Sunday and I felt inspired to paint a Harry Potter style theme with a hut and a tree and a hill This is done in my sketchbook, and the paper in my sketchbook is cellulose paper. There is a lesson to be learned here, and I will show you that at the end when you see the end result. This paper did not behave at all when painting. It's not nice paper. I've been painting a lot on cotton paper recently, and nothing really compares to cotton paper, and it really isn't worth saving a few pounds in buying a stack of cheaper paper. It's just not worth it. So I'm using the brush that's been provided here. That's a travel brush. That's a very small brush indeed. It's a bit difficult to paint with because the barrel is not very long. Personally, I prefer another travel brush with a bigger handle, easier to grip, I would expect. I can not find any mention of what material the brush is made from, so I don't know if this is synthetic or sable for certain. However, it's pretty springy. I would personally guess that it's a synthetic brush, but it is a very good synthetic brush. I didn't really have too much problem actually painting with the brush other than holding it. It gave me nice crisp lines and it had a nice point to it. And it did hold quite a decent amount of paint considering that it's so small. I personally do not paint outside, so this travel set is probably not going to be of much use to me unless I go somewhere and use it like in a hotel room, for example. But it's very small, it's very compact, will probably quite easily fit into a bag, either a rucksack or a handbag, and it's not going to spill everywhere. It does shut properly. The water's not going to leak or spill, which is really good. When it comes to mixing space, the mixing space isn't too bad. There are 3 mixing areas, so it's not too bad considering this is a travel palette. The main reason that I purchased this set was because it was a great price, and it's quite a neat little palette. It's quite dinky, it's quite small, and it's just really, it's quite a nice palette really. And also it gives me a chance to try some more of the Winsor Newton line. I have been eyeing up a set similar to this from Schminker. The tin is actually metal and it contains a slightly better water container, I think, but it is obviously a lot more money. That is about £80 I think on Jackson, so that's quite pricey. This is obviously over half that price and it's quite nice. I definitely don't regret buying this box. But that Schminker one is definitely still a want, I think. I have previously done a review of the Winsor Newton professional line of watercolours on my channel some time ago. The video quality is not that great, so I'm not going to link it up in the iCards, but you can go search for it if you want to. I am going to try and do other videos just painting with one particular brand and doing kind of an updated review. But the Winsor Newton colours they layer very well and they're very bright and they're very strong, some of them. They do take a bit of work to get going, some pre-wetting and a bit of scrubbing to get a decent pigment load and colour load from them, but I really do like some of the colours from Winsor Newton. They can be quite pricey though, especially if you are outside of Europe. Jackson's, I think, is the best place to buy them for price. If you're in the US or Canada, for example, I think they're quite pricey, especially compared to the likes of Daniel Smith and Schminker. The Winsor Newton paints are no longer sadly made here in the UK. They are made in France and China, so that's something to look out for as well. So you're not actually buying English paints when you buy this brand. So here you're about to see why cellulose paper is not so good. I could not get a flat wash with this colour. I used quite a large brush, a size 8 brush, and considering this is only a half an A4 size, so this is A5 size paper, I shouldn't have struggled too much with the brush, but I just could not get a flat wash. This is a problem with cellulose paper, it's not that amazing. This really is the one watercolour supply that I recommend you invest in. Even if you use student grade paints, student grade brushes, I recommend really splashing out on that paper. You will thank me later. It's definitely worth it. I think in future, when I make my next sketchbook, I will definitely make it out of cotton paper. I need to experiment with what kind of paper that I'm going to be getting though, and have a look around. So here is the finished piece, all dried. You can see the colours are nice and bright, but again having some problem with the wash. I was really quite happy how this little sketch came out. It was only a sketch, it wasn't supposed to be a super detailed piece. The set itself is really nice and compact. It does have probably about 9 usable colours in it, but it's still a really good set and a really nice one. I can kind of recommend it. It depends if you're going to like the colour choices in the set and if you're a fan of the Winsor Newton brand or not. But I really liked it, and I definitely recommend getting it if you can find it on sale like I did. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know down in the comment section your thoughts and ideas about this, and how do you feel about the Winsor & Newton brand. I'm going to leave a few other videos for you to check out, which I'd highly appreciate. It really does help my channel out a lot, and please consider subscribing if you want to see more content. So thank you so much for watching, take care everybody, and bye bye.